Hello and welcome to Lunchtime Politics, reaching you live from our global headquarters here in the nation's commercial nerve center, Lagos. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. Let's bring you up to speed with the big happenings in politics and in the polity at midday. National Union of Food, Beverage and Tobacco employees picket NAFDAC office complex in Lagos over ban on production and sale of alcoholic beverages in sachet. Minister of Work, Senator Dave Umahi, says he will resign his position if the ongoing Abuja-Kaduna Road project is found to be substandard. Welcome again to the program. Let's get started with what is playing out in the nation's capital in the courts concerning the issue around the former Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami. We can tell you right now that Justice Obiora Egwatu of the Federal High Court, Abuja, has recused himself from the two cases filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission against the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami. Justice Egwatu, who was recently reassigned the cases by the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Justice John Soho, said he decided to withdraw the two cases for personal reasons and for the interest of justice. This development occurred shortly after the civil suit for the forfeiture of 57 property allegedly linked to Malami was called for mention. The case was formally before Justice Emeka Wite of the same court, who sat as vacation judge during the Yuletide. So that's the latest as far as the issue of the former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, is concerned. But let's show you something else that's going on in Lagos. Members of the National Union of Food, Beverage and Tobacco employees are currently occupying the office complex of the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control in Lagos State to protest against what they consider a apparent refusal to comply with the directive of the federal government suspending the enforcement on the ban of production on sale of alcoholic beverages in sachet. The union is calling on the agency to unseal the production lines that were shut down, a directive allegedly issued by the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and the Office of the National Security Advisor. Suspend what? 5 U.S. lawmakers have tabled a controversial bill in Congress seeking sanctions against Miyetti Allah Culture the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, MACBAN, and former Kano State Governor Robiu Musa Kwankwaso over alleged religious freedom violations. The proposed legislation, titled the Nigeria Religious Freedom and Accountability Act 2026, was introduced by the representatives Chris Smith, Riley Moore, Brian Mast, Mario Diaz-Balart, and Bill Huizenga. The bill accuses Kwankwaso of contributing to what it describes as persistent and systematic persecution of Christians in Nigeria. If passed into law, the measure will compel the U.S. Department of State and Treasury to impose targeted sanctions, including visa bans and asset freezes under the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act. It also directs the agencies to justify to Congress if such actions are not enforced. In a sweeping provision, the bill mandates the U.S. Secretary of State to determine whether certain ethnic militias operating in Nigeria should be designated as foreign terrorist organizations. As of press time, neither the Kwankwaso group nor the named groups had responded to the allegations. However, his party has also responded to this issue, as well as the Kwankwasia movement. Nigeria's Minister of Works, Mr. Dave Umahi, has vowed to resign if the ongoing work on the Abuja-Kaduna-Kanu Road project is found to be substandard, declaring his readiness to subject the work to independent integrity test. Mr. Umahi made a statement during the 10th budget defense session before the Senate Committee on Works, where lawmakers questioned the award of section of the project based on some section of the project on works, where lawmakers question the award of a section of the project to a company some legislators describe as unknown and previously associated with generator sales. The Minister of Defense, General Christopher Musa, was also at the budget session for an independent one. I'm bringing my first guest, well, that's not what we'll be talking about today. We're going to be talking politics, the politics of Labour Party. As a matter of fact, there was a court judgment that unseated the Abure-led leadership of the party. As a matter of fact, INEC also has now recognized Nenadi Usman as the leadership of the party. I'm sure that case is on appeal, but let's tell you what had played out the day that Nenadi Usman took over the premises of the National Secretariat of the party in Utako. This is what she posted. If my producer can put it up for me. She had posted notifying everyone on Twitter and everybody who cares to watch that she's assumed the office. And after that, release of, what do you call it now, the tweet she put out, you could see that her billboard and that of the secretary that were caretaker committee when Abure was in leadership. Yes, this is what I was actually waiting for. So you see the leadership. So she put out this particular tweet showing that, look, they've taken over the National Secretariat of the Labour Party. As far as their new leadership is concerned, their name is also on INEC portal as the newly recognized leadership of the party by court order. And but it looks like the other group, the Abure-led group, are not backing down. So this is what it looks like right now. This is what you can also find on the Labour Party official handle. I think it's still controlled by the Abure group, who said they've removed the poster, or the billboard in this case, from that particular place where it is. So let's bring in a guest. My guest is Obiora Efo, is the National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party, loyal to Abure. Mr. Efo, thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a long time.
Yes. As a matter of fact, what is really playing out now? Because I saw that, I was trying to explain while they were putting up the pictures to show the audience that Nenadi Usman had said, look, hey, we're now in charge. She put out that tweets, and then we saw the billboard. That's the word that kept escaping my mind, the billboard. I was saying poster, the billboard that was there. But your group, perhaps, because I saw it on your official Labour Party page, that your group has gone to take it down. What exactly is going on here?
Well, what we can say is that the crisis in the Labour Party has continued to fester, in the sense that, as of this morning, since yesterday, the security agencies took over the entire building and have refused entrance or giving access to anybody, because the team led by the Abia State Governor, represented by his deputy, in conjunction with the Nenadi group, came and invaded the office early hours on Tuesday by 1 a.m., ungodly hour, broke into the secretariat and mounted a banner, a billboard. So we all came to work on Tuesday and find out that a bill banner has been mounted. So we went, of course, as a law-abiding group, we went to report to the police. And the police said that they didn't have, the group do not have any permission to take over the party secretariat. Because as you are aware, the Federal High Court, led by Justice Lifu, gave a judgment while interpreting the Supreme Court, which is an abnormality, and asked that Nenadi should take over the party on interim basis pending the conduct of convention. We naturally thought it was not a proper thing to do. So we went to court, got a stay of execution, and appealed the judgment. We were in the process of appealing the judgment. And the natural thing in law is, even when you have the judgment, and there is a stay of execution, and there is an appeal, you have to restrain yourself.
So, Biora, let's take it one step at a time, because I'm hearing this so that you are the ones in the eye of the storm. So let me learn it from you. So first and foremost, has the Court of Appeal, given the stay of execution? Has it granted your group the stay of execution?
Yes, that is what we did.
No, that's not my question. That's not my question. There is a difference between applying for a stay, and there's another difference for a stay being granted. Question is simple. Do you have a stay of execution in your hands?
Exactly what I am telling you. We have a stay of execution, which we have already published in the newspaper advert. Because the Justice Lightfoot said that we have to publish it, because we tried to serve them and they refused. They evaded service. And we went back to that court, lower court, who now said that we have to publish in newspapers. So we published in Tribune and in Daily Trust as directed by the judge.
So my apology, we're having an interaction so that the audience can follow us in this conversation. So if there is a stay of execution based on the judgment of the lower court, which depended on the Supreme Court judgment, which is now a subject of argument before the appeal court, why did INEC now recognize the Nenadi Usman group while the issue is still a subject of adjudication?
No, I think that question should go to the INEC. But by my own understanding, when we got the execution, the stay of execution, and notice for appeal, they refused to accept all these documents. And we went back to the court, who now said that there will have to be substitute, they have to give the notice through other means. And basically told us that we have to go to Tribune and Daily Trust. And we have done that. In the process of this gap, INEC quickly uploaded them. So I think that question should rightly go to INEC to ask them why, even when they are aware. Because the moment these orders came, we took it to INEC and they accepted. We have evidence that they accepted. They stamped our letters. So for whatever reason that made them to rush into dealing with Nenadi, it's left for INEC. I'm not insinuating anything, but what I'm saying that it is hasty, it is improper.
So my assumption in understanding how stay works is simply to say revert to status quo pending the determination of the motion on notice at the appeal court, right? No. So as you speak now, is there anybody occupying, are you guys back to the secretariat? What exactly is going on at the national secretariat of your party?
So when we found out that illegally invaded our office, so we went to report to the police. We went as far as going to the Commissioner of Police. We made our reports. And the Commissioner of Police himself said that he was even surprised to hear that there is no order from the police. But unfortunately, the invasion that morning, on Tuesday morning, there were about 8 trucks of police vehicles in that compound. So we didn't even know what is happening. So what we did was we reported, and the police commissioner said that we are not encumbered from going to our office. That was why we released the statement that we have recovered our office and that we are moving into our office on Wednesday. Only for us to come on Wednesday, and we saw some men there holding a notebook with list of names of people that will be allowed into the secretariat, protected by police. So we made our complaints, and we have just decided that we will pursue our case in the appeal court. So whatever, but as it is today, the NAFDAC camp has been barred from entering there. We too have been barred from entering there. But surprisingly again, yesterday morning, yesterday was Wednesday, they came back again and fixed their banner out there again. So then we decided to follow it peacefully so that it won't result to what happened in the other political party where everywhere it was, sealed out completely and nobody has access. And we believe that what can solve the matter is if we go to court, to appeal, get judgment, and it speaks for itself. And all we think that they are trying to do is to stop us from going into election, participating in 2027 election. I think it's unfair.
So as from your group, what is the plan besides, of course, the issues in court? We don't know when the hearing will happen. Maybe you can give us that information. Perhaps we will to get all the way to the Supreme Court yet again, if the Supreme Court will entertain the case, that is, because they ruled on this matter before, which was the interpretation of the lower court. That is now another controversial issue. So what is the plan? Is there a national convention in the works? What is your grand plan? Because INEC is meant to release, despite the, of course, we're still using the Electoral Act 2022 for now. That's a substantive act we're using, which means that latest by 20th, which is a few days from now, we should be seeing INEC timetable ahead of the next election. What's the plan for you from your end?
No, as far as we are concerned in Labour Party, we have held our national convention, and it is running. And any other convention or congress as that cannot hold. And we are deliberate about that because it's part of what we have gone to appeal court to decide whether there can be any other convention after holding one just 2 years ago. And like I said, we have decided to toe the line of peace. Yesterday, we saw over 200 youths armed, protected. And we do not want to push anybody into fighting when we have a court that can handle that. The Supreme Court has said completely, clearly, that the affairs of the party, whatever thing that happens, it is an internal affairs of the party. And the so-called interim is not in our constitution. It is not known by any law, not by the electoral law, not by the party constitution. So everything that is happening there is just an aberration. And we are using this opportunity to call on Nigerians to speak up. Labour Party is a party that has hope, that it has interest of this nation, that is going somewhere. But there is a grand attempt by a few persons to startle the party, and that's what we are resisting. We may not have the state fund. We may not have that fund, but there is very little money can do in this case. It's all about moral factors.
So, Mr. Obiora, okay.
And buy anybody want to buy.
All right.
And go out and rent any crowd that you want to rent. We do not have that power. We do not have that resources. But what we are saying is let the right thing be done. The Constitution is very, very fair. Very clear about
if I may comment, so let's look forward now. Clearly, from what is playing out, it feels like with the Peter Obi's out and several other persons leaving the party, besides Governor Alex Otti, who is the only governor of the party or governor from the party who is still in the party, at least at this material point in time. How much impact do you think the Labour Party can really make, given what they did in terms of an outlier upsetting of the policy that happened in 2023? A lot of people feel that that steam is gone.
You know, let me let you know that Labour Party is the only political party that has an ideology in Nigeria. The same ideology of Labour Party in Nigeria is the same in UK, the same in Bangladesh, it's all over the world. And our ideology is spelled out. And that was the ideology that attracted people into the party in 2023, and it has not changed. We are not going to stand and see monetization of electoral process or politics in Nigeria. So we have our programs intact. And part of the program that we already started advertising them, was what triggered this latest invasion by this NAFDAC group. And let me also let you know that the NAFDAC group NAFDAC herself has acquainted herself with ADC. It's on record that she is the chairman of Kaduna State ADC coalition group. And these are the people that are coming over to take over Labour Party. It's on record that NAFDAC came as a member of obedient group, not card-carrying member of Labour Party. The card that she's taking about is the card produced by his own council chairman, which was not, if she came to be a party member, she ought to have hold a party card that was signed by the.
Okay, Biora, let's begin to wind down. We can't dismiss the fact that the Peter Obi effect was significant to push the party forward. Now that has gone with the steam, but let's see how it plays out in your party. But as a political party from your end, what is your take and what's your thought on this controversial decision around the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, especially Clause 63, 60 sub 3, the one that emanated from the Senate, that the Senate has been receiving a lot of flack because a lot of arguments to the fact that they should have left it the way it was proposed by the Committee for Real-Time Transmission of Election Results, side by side with the physical collation of the result, as done by INEC guideline, now just giving it legal parenting. What's your take?
It's very simple. The transmission, electronic transmission ought to be total. The idea of where it fails, then the manual will suffice. It's not. It's a way to create an opportunity for reading to take place again. There is no place in Nigeria where there is no network. The moment you key in your result, even when there is no network, if you step outside that place, network will come and the result will drop on the platform. So Labour Party thinks that total electronic transmission should be supported. And I believe that Senate, they still have a lot of work to do. And I understand that there is still an opportunity for them to, work with the House of Representatives to tidy up things. But if they bring out anything outside that, Nigerians will be shortchanged. And what happened in 2023 will likely happen again in 2020. So it's an opportunity for them. So in conclusion, I say it's an opportunity for them to right the wrongs. The pains of 2023 is still out there. Nigerians deserve a clean and clear electionary process. And the only way we can guarantee that is by electronic voting.
All right. My last question. So INEC is doing CVR, continuous voter registration exercise. I saw them in my environment the other day. I see the APCs continuing with their, I think it's ended now. They did this aggressive, e-registration exercise. They have City Boy. They have another group. ADC starting their e-registration pretty soon. So what is the Labour Party doing to mobilize support ahead of the 2020? Because literally, the big boys, besides the PDP that is fighting over who owns what, who controls what, it looks like every other one that is a bit more stable. Your party now, we can't say they are stable because of this division. But from your end, what is the plan?
No, maybe you forgot that last year, in June last year, we started our e-registration. And at the time, to be honest, we were closing up to little less than 2 million. We did a lot. But then this crisis started. That was when they went to Umahia and conducted that kangaroo sitting. And we had to suspend everything that we are doing to first of all face. And the Supreme Court judgment came in April last year. And we went back again. But we've never had any single breathing space. The data is there. However, I must agree that a lot of things have happened. So many persons have also left the party because they were not allowed to participate in the FCT Council elections. So there's a whole lot of hemorrhage that is going on. I mean, hemorrhage that is going on in the party. But we will come back again and see what we will do as soon as the appeal court sets aside completely and give proper. Labour Party, a market that sells itself. We don't even need to canvass so much. The program is there. A lot of people have shown interest to participate in the election. And we don't even need to sing. In 2023, we didn't place one single advert on television. We didn't place one single advert on the newspaper. But they allocated 6 million plus for us, even though we knew we got over 10 million. Labour Party, the moment the encumbrances are lifted, we are ready to go. Nigerians deserve the best. All the alternatives that we have now are not giving us exactly what we want.
Okay, Ms. Obiora, we're totally out of time. Yes, my apologies. We're totally out of time. I wish we could take more conversation from you. But I think your points are well noted. We're hopeful that the Labour Party will come out of its own conundrum. That's hope for, again, for PDP and every other opposition party that seems to be in the doldrum, struggling just to be stable. We'll get out so that we'll have a formidable opposition to stand up to the ruling party.
Free the political space. Let people, let's have this thing, the field clean, so that people will come and contest the election. There's no need of muscling and trying to emasculate the space. It will not help democracy in Nigeria. Thank you so much for having me.
Obiora Ifo is the National Publicity Secretary of the Labour Party, loyal to the Abure Group. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
That's it on the program. Thank you for your time and company. We'll continue to keep tab and watch what's playing out in the polity. At midday, we'll give you the latest update right here on Lunchtime Politics. Thanks for your time. I'm Jeffrey Uzonga. You've been served on Lunchtime Politics. Bye-bye.